You did mention the anniversary of Metal Health, which, obviously a
Mhm.
massive milestone for Quiet Riot. Looking back on that time, what was that sort of period in the group like? Because, I mean, that was a huge, huge point for the band.
Yeah, that's a really good question, which I always have to start at the beginning. My beginning with Quiet Riot goes back to 1978 when I joined the Randy Rhoads version of the band. And Randy was the only musician I've ever been a band with that comes from a musical family completely.
Mm.
Mom and dad, music professors. They built they built a music school which is still out there called Musonia. It's in North Hollywood. So he came from academia. He he could play classical music, read music, he learned composition, music theory, even before he was in a rock band. So at
Wow.
the core of his being, Randy Rhoads was a musician and actually a teacher. Before he became famous with Ozzy, he spent more time teaching music than actually playing in a band. That's when I joined in 78. So there was so much musical integrity that I was exposed to with Randy in Quiet Riot. And then Randy left Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot ceased to exist as a band. And then Kevin put his own band called Dubrow. I played in Dubrow, but also I was involved in other projects, other bands. I moved in with Kevin. And then I joined Ozzy. And then by that time, Randy already had recorded Speak of the Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. And I joined when in 1981 when they were looking for a bass player for the American tour of Speak of the Devil. This is 1981, and now Randy is at a whole different level
Yeah.
because he's got the musical freedom to practice his musical integrity, go back to being the classical guitar player that was always, but was never able to show that as a member of Quiet Riot because Quiet Riot was more designed to be a kind of like a glam rock band, and it wasn't really much room for classical. And also, we were not equipped back in the day to mic an acoustic guitar properly. We just didn't have the equipment to do that, especially
Right.
for a local band. And so when it came time for Randy to go in the studio to record with Ozzy, he could do that. He could play classical pieces. If he played classical guitar on a record, he could actually use the Les Paul. And we had our sound guy using a harmonizer to emulate the classical guitar tone by turning down the distort,
Mm.
the volume and
Yeah.
making it more to sound acoustically, so he could play like that. Randy designed his Jackson to have a neck that simulated the width of the classical guitar because that's
Wow.
what he was used to. That's why he really enjoyed playing the Gibson Les Paul because it was a wider neck, like a Spanish guitar, classical. So um, I learned so much, and I was exposed to so much musical integrity from Randy and everybody in the Ozzy camp. Because now I'm with the pros here. And then when Randy passed away, I lost the joy of making music. So I get a phone call from Kevin Dubrow to come in and record one of the songs I used to play with him in Dubrow, which was Thunderbird. He wrote that song when Randy left Quiet Riot in '79 to join Ozzy. And then he changed a little bit of the lyrics and the third verse to fit the tribute to Randy, that which is just what that song is all about. And if you look at the back of the cover of Metal Health, you're going to see that the album is dedicated to the memory of Randy Rhoads. So it was all in the spirit of recording a tribute
Mm.
to our dear friend and mentor to all of us, Randy Rhoads. He was such an example. I mean, he's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame all by himself, not even with Ozzy or Quiet Riot. It's Randy
That's
Rhoads,
unreal.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. So I mean, that's how much of an impact he had. He had. I'm talking to you about somebody who was there with him,
Yeah.
and I could talk to somebody like, let's say, Tom Morello, who was very responsible for Randy being in the Hall of Fame, and Tom felt the same impact, and he had never even met Randy Rhoads, but it's the music. It's the frequencies of the music. You can know so much about an individual by listening, if they're truly an artist, by listening to their music, their
Yeah.
compositions, because a great composer, it's an open book.
That's it.
Even
Especially
though
when you're
they
tapped into
might,
that consciousness as well, right? You can feed off of that.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I'm not talking about, let's say, somebody like Bob Dylan, who would write lyrics about all these other different characters.
Right.
Whereas Randy, he didn't write the lyrics, he wrote the music. So these were emotions that he had inside of him that he would play those emotions, which is a little bit different than somebody who was a singer-songwriter who was actually trying to capture other people's consciousness and write stories about them.
Right.
Uh, John Lennon was very, very successful doing that. He could pick up the newspaper and write a song like "A Day in the Life" based on news items in
He
the
was
in
like
the
a reporter
newspaper.
in a sense,
Yeah,
you
CNN.
know?
Yeah. Well, that's the way I look at rap music, especially
Right.
early rap. It was reporting what was going on in the neighborhood.